That's new. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Baram, and I'm here with the Association of Cyber Engineers, and I'll be showing you some password cracking techniques and what it is. So, our usual disclaimer, we do not endorse that you use these tools on machines and systems that are not your own. Please don't do that. It's illegal, and if you get caught, we will make a laughingstock out of you. So, on to password cracking. What is it? Password cracking is the process of recovering passwords that's using data that's stored in or transmitted by a computer system. Hackers often abuse the definition of quote unquote recovering to try and infiltrate a secure computer or system. And password cracking often involves dictionaries and rainbow tables to crack passwords. That's why you should use easy to remember but hard to guess long passwords. It makes it so much harder for a password cracking program to guess a 15-character password than an 8-character password. So how long does it take to crack a password? Let's go to this link. So how secure is your password? Supposedly all entries are 100% secure and not shared with anyone. We'll see about that. I'm not going to enter any of my own passwords, but we're going to see how secure my password is. So say my password is password. It's cracked instantly. Even though it's 8 characters, it's one of the most commonly used passwords. So don't use that. If I use admin, also instantly. If I do the alphabet, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. All right, it would take 4 quintillion years to crack that password. And I highly doubt that people use that because it's just so much to enter. But yeah, anything with a short password like ASDF or I love mom, 22 minutes, that's what, 8 characters? But yeah, the longer your password, the better. Just make sure it's not a commonly used password. So going back to this, it depends on your password's entropy, which means how long and how random your password is. And it's not long if you're doing it manually. And if you know how the user sets up their passwords, meaning that they follow a system for their passwords to their websites and whatever, it's not going to be hard if you already know one of their passwords. Don't ask me how I know this experience. But there are different types of password cracking. You have brute force, which are like using rainbow tables. Typically, rainbow tables will contain hashes of very common passwords, and it'll basically compare different hashes against an entered password, or different passwords against hashes. And if it's correct, it'll succeed. So that's why you don't use a common password. You also have dictionary attacks, which work off a similar concept along with pattern checking and word list substitution. Let's not go that far. So don't leave your computer unattended around people you don't trust. And passwords don't have to be cracked, they can be easily reset. And what I mean by that is essentially don't leave your computer, your physical computer, around people you don't know, because I've actually done this. Like, I have reset my old computer's password, my admin password that my parents set, by dual booting a live CD rather of Ubuntu, and you could have easily just reset the password to the admin account on Vista by accessing it through a live CD. And the same goes for Mac OS, which you access through the recovery command line. It was terrifyingly easy to find out how easy that was, or it was terrifying how easy it was to do that. But yeah, with that, let's get on to some slight hands-on stuff. So John the Ripper is a popular password cracking tool. It works on many operating systems, but it was originally made for Unix. And so I'm going to demo to you the user account password on Kali. So John the Ripper uses a dictionary and brute force attack. It just basically determines for itself. So what we're going to do is Kali has a built-in, or it already has it installed. So let's see. If we run John here, under password attacks, you have John. And so you run it as sudo, and you have all of this. That does nothing. So what should you do? Come on. So if you run sudo John, it does give you this. And what we want to do is essentially try and guess the password for my user account. So we're going to do sudo John, and our user account password is stored in /etc/shadow, if I remember correctly. And so this is not good. I have not changed either of the default passwords on this virtual machine. So it was able to easily guess the password within about 2 seconds. Does it say? No, it doesn't.
Did it do that with brute force or dictionary when you run the default with no options?
I think this may have done it with the dictionaries that the system already has built in, or the word lists. If not, it was brute force, but I think that was dictionary attack. So if I change my password to my account, the current password is Callie, and I'm going to do admin. It might tell me I might have to choose a long password. We're going to do password. All right, we're going to run John again. Is it going to get it? It got it. Password's the password for Callie. So now if I were to set my password to Callie, oh crap, let's see. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to set it to admin. We're going to run John yet again. All right, it got it. So don't use common and short passwords. So if I were to change the password to this account again, to something like admin, 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 all lowercase, no spaces, you have 15 characters right there. So since that's not I don't think that's a very common password. We can see how long John the Ripper will take to try and guess this. And I ran this before. It didn't get it within about 20 minutes. So if it gets it this time, I would be surprised. But essentially, it's not going to get it for a long time, because at that point, if it's not on the word lists that it has, it's likely going to go with brute force. We're going to leave that running. With that, we're going to move on to hashcat. And hashcat is very similar to John the Ripper. I just have a demo of hashcat here for you. But it essentially just cracks passwords with different dictionaries, different word lists. This is written out here for me to reference. However, I tried this already, and you'll see why I can't get a full result. It's just a hardware issue, but we're going to go ahead and run hashcat. So let's see. Okay, so you can see that I've just essentially created MD5 hashes of the strings that you see here into a file called target hashes.txt. And if you look in, let's see, this directory, it's right here. And if you open it, you have these hashes. And that's password and some other password, all cap hello, my secret, test password, and Callie. Those are the respective hashes that you see. And so if we want to do all of that, and you can follow along, we've gotten to this point essentially, cat target hashes.txt. And so what you're going to want to do is locate your word lists that you're going to reference. And, oh God. Okay. So locate word lists. And Callie has these all built in, or with whatever packages you've installed. So you have your word lists here. You have rocku.txt and all of this. And we're going to use rocku.txt. not the .gz. You have to unzip that file, and that's with the gzip. But I've already done that. It just doesn't show up here for some reason, at least upon first look. Yeah, but you also have one that's all, and I can't imagine the size of that that list. But we're going to go onward. And we're going to basically locate rocky.txt, which it should be in this folder. Found that. Okay. We don't want that.
Just ls at path. You
One more time.
have to update the database for locate. So if you unzipped it recently, it's not going to show up.
Oh, I was not aware of that. How do you do that?
Well, the updating that locate command might take a second, but if you just do ls/user/share/wordlist.
User/share/what?
Wordlist/rocky.txt, it should be there.
All right. Yeah, it's there. Thank you. I did not know you had to update locate. So you're going to use hashcat to try and crack your passwords, or your hashes rather. So TAC-M here in this command means you're going to specify what method you're using. This is going to be, I think, a dictionary attack. Sorry, no, that's TAC-A. TAC-M, can't remember what that is, to be honest. But you have TAC-O, which is your output to crack.txt. Your input file is target hashes.txt, and you're specifying what word list you're using here. So if we copy this in, actually, let's run hashcat.tagh first. All right, so now let's copy that in. We're in our directory. Yeah. And so this is where it kind of crashes on my system. It's because of driver issues from what I've researched. Pretty much OpenCL is not having a good time. But essentially what you're supposed to get are your hashes followed by the actual password associated with those hashes. And so we get password, hello, password, test password, and my secret. These are, since I modified this from a tutorial, these two are not going to be correct, these hashes, because when you hash password, it's not going to change if it's the same password. But your output should be this in hashcat if it runs correctly, and if you have the correct drivers installed, which apparently I don't. But yeah. So what should you take away from this? Again, use long passwords, and where is it? Yeah, use easy to remember but hard to guess long passwords. So like use a sentence and associate different things with different verbs or words in that sentence, and you get a long password that's easy to remember and that a computer is never going to guess. Any questions?
Thanks, bro.
No problem. I'm sorry I couldn't get hashcat to work. There are some driver issues for some reason.
Oh, don't do it on a VM.
Don't do it on a VM.
Yeah, do not do hashcat on a VM.
I was never aware of that.
Yeah, oh, well, so you have a question, right? Or you just...
Me?
I was trying to use the little clap emoji thing, but
Oh, yeah, don't use hashcat on a VM. Yeah, when you're on a VM, it's gonna offload, like, unless you've got like some really fine-tuned settings, the VM's probably gonna offload all the computation to your CPU. And hashcat is designed to run on a GPU. So you'd be better off, like taking like a Raspberry Pi, plugging some stuff into it and cracking it on the Raspberry Pi and then doing it on a VM.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It's good for like, if you're doing like a hack the box, because like they're only going to make you use like, renting some course online. Ooh, yeah. If you're doing something like outside of the rocky.txt, then yeah, you want to use not the VM. Renting cores online, yeah, especially with like AWS and like all the online services. It's going to be super realistic, like to just not even have your own hardware. And one other thing to mention, there's this website called CrackStation, and they have MD5, SHA-1, Linux stuff. And you can just throw the hash in there, and it'll check. They have like a bunch of rainbow tables to verify against. Bunch of websites like that. I think that hashes.org as well. Yeah, hashes.org and CrackStation.
All right. Did not know about that. I've never actually downloaded a hash table and actually attempted to crack anything. The only cracking I've done is like I did with the old laptops that I had, which was really fun. Yeah, my parents were a bit harsh on the admin privileges, so I broke my way in. And now this is being recorded, so oops.
I won't tell them.
YouTube will, don't worry. But yeah, any other questions? Yeah, I'll probably get an angry phone call if it shows up on my parents' recommended lists, which hopefully it doesn't. All right.
Yeah, here's an update on the code status. Stamp. Buying the stamp is gonna be like $15 to order with like shipping and all that. So like, I'll just pay for that. And I mean, Ashley at the help desk is helping with that. And I'm gonna try and talk to Dr. Timms, like see if like we can get around this block that they put on us. I don't know why. Like I can show you all that. I can share my screen with the form. .tech or whatever. It's like, there you go. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Well, we can see your browser.
So what is it? Facility reservation. Yeah, and they denied it because Marcia's like, she should be on there. Like, you know, like she should be added to the form. Like, why you just deny it? Like, I didn't get an email. So I'm gonna go in person. And do that. Like, that is the stupidest thing ever. Why make it electronic and then say I can't approve it? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think this is probably more so for, well, at this point, stuff in IESB.
What?
I think this is probably more so for stuff just straight through IESB. So like you can reserve a room in IESB.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to I'm gonna go straight to Tim's office or whatever.
Okay.
So will not be a big deal. We'll see. If not, we'll have it next quarter and we'll get all the signatures. So
all right.
Yeah. We can do another one next quarter. Like this is actually really easy to make. So
cool.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night. Thanks for coming.
Good night.